Mr. Irrelevant or Mr. Super Relevant. The San Francisco 49ers, Brock Purdy, have they found something special? He looks pretty good. But what I will say about the Niners is they are an extremely well-coached team, and it seems like you can kind of throw any quarterback in there, and they'd at least do an average job. Obviously, Jimmy Garoppolo, when Trey Lance went down, playing really well. Then, of course, he went down. And now you have Brock Purdy. Of course, we're going to wait till the actual time that he came in. Otherwise, stats could be skewed a little bit. Wish we could actually add the real stats like they used to do in Madden. So not only do we have a really buggy crap launch where everything's broken and the servers are down 24/7, but we also don't get the wins, losses, stats, draft pick, all that stuff added realistically week to week like we used to. So it's just like, what are they even doing all day? But regardless of the point, we've kind of done a Niners rebuild recently enough, but this one's going to be focused on Purdy. No matter how badly he plays, I think I'm going to give him and the Niners 5 years, unless they win a Super Bowl before then with Brock Purdy. Of course, it's going to be an interesting situation with Trey Lance. Can you really give up on him already? Probably not, right? It's definitely going to be a quarterback battle. Nobody has the starting job guaranteed next season unless, of course, Purdy was really bad in the playoffs or something, but overall, we're going to give him a chance, and I've kind of talked about these players. Nothing's really changed from my last rebuild. Kittle's great. Trent Williams is great. McGlinchey's, above average. Ayuk has played really well this season. Debo's dropped off a little bit, but he's still Debo. Christian McCaffrey's been great. What else do we have? Defensively, Nick Bosa, probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year. Greenlaw's great. Fred Warner, great player. Ward has been just a godsend for this team. Hufanga, the hype's dying out a little bit, but, pretty much everything that was once said recently enough is basically true about the defense and the offense. It's pretty good. Of course, starting this one in week 4, going on week 5, I have a Drake Jackson breakout, so could end up being a star development trait player here. Trying to remember what happened in my latest rebuild of this team. Nice dev up of this team, and I really can't remember, so I'm just going to pretend like it didn't happen. And here we go. So I have heard really nothing about re-signings from the Niners to my knowledge. It's really hard to let... Okay, for that price, it's really easy to let Jimmy Garoppolo... It's like... when you're like a little kid and you're like, I kind of want to go to school. I feel like it could be some fun. But I also want mom there. That's basically what Jimmy Garoppolo is. He's like the Niners' mom. It's like... We really, really want to go with a young quarterback down the line because we know what we got with Jimmy. He's all right. But, is he that guy? Once we got a proper franchise QB, but could you really go to preschool without your mommy there? I don't know. So it's like I kind of want my mommy back here with Jimmy Garoppolo. But $43 million left for this team to spend on a couple of players. I would like to get Jimmy Ward on a 1-year deal. I just can't see me using more than a 1-year deal for him. And a 1-year 12. Okay, that's brilliant. And then McGlinchey, I feel like I heard something in the news. The local news. Oh yeah, Mike McGlinchey, of the Niners, not even your favorite local team. He got re-signed. Thought you'd want to know. They haven't, but I imagine he's over 10 per year. So I feel like, even though I haven't really been doing it like this, I think a 3 or 34 is easily fair for us and maybe even underpayment for him in real life. And I want to keep Mosley because he's actually decent for them in real life, and that's decent money, but at the same time, I need something to draft, and overall, long-term wise, he's probably not the best bet for us. So, yeah, I don't know if I can do that. It's a realistic style rebuild, but it's also, Madden realistic, unless I start changing ratings based on the way players are playing in real life, and by the way they're playing in game. There's certain players that just don't make sense to sign, right? Without actually changing them yourself, there's nothing you can do. And here we are in the playoffs with a 13-4 season. It's crazy to think that the Niners have kind of turned it on, this season. It can kind of seem like out the gate they're like, oh, this Niners team doesn't look too good, but they look great right now. And of course, the Packers, out of nowhere, with that win streak, end up playing this Niners team in the wild card. And I have to admit, as a Packers fan, I don't like that. I don't like that. Niners are a team that has had their number, and there's no doubt about that. Of course, this is how it shook up in the end for the playoff picture. You have the Giants playing the Vikings, 6 and 3 seeds, then the 4 and 5 seed, and then, of course, looking at the Patriots and Bengals, 2 and 7, 3 and 6, and 4 and 5, with the number 1 seeds being the Chiefs and the Eagles. So very interesting. I think a lot of people would probably expect Green Bay to be that final wild card spot, but no actual guarantee. And then is this last hurrah Trent Williams? Like, I just don't think that's a thing, right? Like, I just don't see it. Really? He's playing at this high of a level? He's really going to retire? I don't see it. I think Trent Williams is going to stay for at least 2 more years in real life. So with the contract he has, with the level of play he's playing at right now, I'm going to drop him to 32 years old and just let everything happen. Let me cook, all right? Which, speaking of, if you really want to let me cook, maybe leave a like, maybe subscribe. You know, if you're new and you enjoy what you like, you see so far, you enjoy what you like. Hey, do you like what you enjoy? Do you find things great that you like? Of course, if you're not new, really appreciate your continued support. Didn't have all the injury. I completely forgot to put Brock Purdy in. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. Wait, did I? Wait. I didn't. I was so confused because these numbers are like so freaking identical. It's insane. I know that the yards are a little low and the interceptions are already higher than that, but it's just like there's a good chance that Brock Purdy kind of throws like 2, maybe 3 touchdowns, maybe throws a pick, maybe has a couple hundred yards. It's very similar. It's probably about 100 yards less and maybe 1 or 2 interceptions less, but it is very similar, which, you know, in Sim, these numbers could have been absurdly good or absurdly bad, so thank God I remember to put him in. Jimmy Garoppolo, by the way, was killing it before the injury. Christian McCaffrey and Mitchell really killing it. Debo, some decent numbers there. Debo here, way better than real life, of course. McLeod, really good. Where are Ayuk's numbers? That is pain. This scheme confuses me. The number 2 wide receiver, the number 1 slot, it's not real, okay? I don't know how Ray McLeod is getting more like catches than Ayuk. I've got to figure it out, all right? Kittle's had a pretty bad season for Madden's sense. I mean, that's even less in real life. Blocking was great outside of McGlinchey, who I'm glad we paid. And then Nick Bosa may have actually won the Defensive Player of the Year award like he's likely to do in real life. Drake Jackson, not a bad rookie year at all. Armstead, you know, was he elite? Is he good? You know, it's kind of back and forth with his defensive tackle department. It's crazy to think that once upon a time, they had freaking Buckner, dude. Imagine if they still had Buckner. I don't want to, as, once again, a Packers fan that has been abused in my hole by the Niners. Of course, Ward, really good numbers. Robbie Gould, not bad. I always said Robbie Gould. Then I heard someone say Gould once. It's Robbie Gould. I don't care anymore, all right? The U doesn't exist. Which, speaking of things that don't exist, the support on a second channel, PKer Plays. I post, you know, non-Madden playthroughs of games that are fun, popular, you know, kind of funny, and I think the videos are pretty funny and cool. Maybe check it out. We're playing High on Life right now, and a day or 2 ago, I posted part 2, and we should be posting part 3 tomorrow. I haven't played it yet, but I will be doing so. So definitely check that out. Going to try to at least get 2 episodes a week, just for anything, really, you know, any series going forward. Mahomes, MVP, the guy that likely will win MVP. Dak Prescott kills it in Sim, but he is not winning MVP in real life. It's definitely the Mahomes and Hurts show. And then before Jair Alexander clamped down on Jefferson, it was probably Jefferson at number 3 for me. If he would have got 2K yards, I would have said for sure him. Still could in theory, but not super likely. And before any butthurt Vikings fans say anything about me saying Jair clamped him, he had safety help. It's like, you do realize that, like, all teams have the number 1 wide receiver with safety help over top. There's a difference between, like, bracket, true double coverage, and having a safety over top. I can admit, Jair has not had a great season, mainly because of scheme, but that game was one of the best games I've ever seen any Packers corner have. My man's was pressing Jefferson out of his soul. I mean, I don't even remember how many clean releases he had. I don't remember how many times he even got past the 5-yard line mark. Jefferson was locked, and I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't, because Jefferson's insane. And Jair, like I said, has had a bad, you know, kind of a bad season. But in single coverage, boy, let him cook. I know you got Rasul, who's like super slow out there, and no Stokes, but I don't even care at this point. Just put Jair one-on-one against anyone and let him cook, because oh my. And that very first play, I know fans want to cry about it, and you say pass interference. Well, first, it started off as a push-off, first and foremost, which Jefferson has gotten away with a lot in his career. Let me tell you, I mean, which wide receiver doesn't, in fairness, which led to a hold. And then 2, taunting. Maybe taunting. It was a little over the top for, just a single coverage play, but technically by rule, he wasn't doing it at him. He was walking away while doing it, but enough of that. Man, oh man, do I got to defend this team, huh? Of course, no chance for Cooper Kupp. Nick Bosa, Defensive Player of the Year, which we love to see. Rookie of the Year, no. Defensive Rookie of the Year, no. I think in real life it's not going to be Aiden Hutchinson. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Christian Watson has a semi-chance, but I think you got to give it to, well, he's not in the NFC, obviously, but Garrett Wilson, just because he played the whole season. I think Christian Watson had a good case if he was able to play the whole year, but missed a lot of time and took a little while to get him truly going. Best running back, I don't really care about. Did we win anything other than Nick Bosa awards? We didn't. Damn it. But here we go for what will likely be a smoke show. Niners over Green Bay. As right now, Green Bay maybe improved run defense, but overall, a run defense that I, even myself, may run 3 yards per carry against. Of course, in the fourth quarter here, the Packers are up by 8. This is a very good score for them to be in. Brock Purdy trying to lead this team to a victory. Doing a really good job there, getting the touchdown and the 2-point. Come on, patented Green Bay choke. Let's go. As a Packers fan, the one time I won't be let down, please be now. All right, I'm coming in. I don't care. At this point, this is the Brock Purdy show. I want to see some Super Bowls, baby. Over the middle, and Ward gets stiff arm. Hello? What the hell was that? Bro, I'm telling you right now, dude, my sliders for Seahawks franchise, it's busted. It's broken. I've never seen this in the history. Maybe it's just because the team is so good. I've never seen any of this happen in that franchise. I don't understand how. How is this possible? I get smoked in regular base sliders during rebuilds. In normal gameplay in Seahawks franchise, I can't lose. I don't understand. Do I just need to put everything on base and just forget about sliders? I don't even know what's happening anymore. Like mid blitz, I never run in that series because it would probably cook instantly. This is a screen. Hufanga. Oh, thank God they didn't call PI. The Packers defense choking as you would expect. Did I say defense? I mean, they're both going to choke. Who cares? They're about to score a touchdown here. Purdy time, baby. It's pretty good. Oh, look at that. It's a beautiful drive. Can't wait for them to waste all the clock and not kick the field goal. They're going to kick the field goal. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see it. And it's up. The Packers lose. All is right in the world. The asteroid that was coming down because it looked like Green Bay was about to beat the Niners has retreated back into space because there is nothing wrong with the universe after all. 27-24, divisional round time. Purdy putting up a Purdy kind of season. Rodgers putting up a kind of unexpected game because Rodgers been a little reserved this season. Aaron Jones killed us yet at 3.4 yards per carry with 2 touchdowns. I'm just in a momentary God mode situation. The 2 rookie receivers for the Packers putting up 200 yards combined. Hey, you get back to being injured, even though it hurts me in real life. Of course, kicking was perfect. Didn't put the pre-existing injuries on because obviously I did need to have guys that are injured now actually play most of the season, because otherwise it would have been like Josh Johnson at quarterback, which would have been really weird. But Brock Purdy, get that strong arm going, because my mans do not got the strong arm. Let me tell you that much. Doesn't get a strong arm upgrade. No throw power upgrade yet in general. Christian McCaffrey, who is a very good rating on the game. That trucking sucks, but let me tell you, he can slip a tackle. I suppose with his expertise, I'm still going to go elusive back. It's just too good of an upgrade. I can't pass on an elusive back upgrade, which is pretty good. And we now see the Vikings against the Niners. We'll say not the most unrealistic expectation. I will say I have almost no stock in Minnesota right now. They just look really not great. They just really don't look great, and they just look like, that win-loss ratio is just not the truest thing. Obviously, they've shown some resilience and, clutched up at the end of the game, but just like with, I suppose, the sport itself, one thing goes another way, and, maybe they're not so close to 12 wins. Maybe they're a 7-win team. I don't know. It just seems like in previous years, the Vikings have been on the opposite side of this kind of winning situation, and, one or two plays goes the right way and they win. So it's like, I don't know, I just see them as a team that you can't be too confident in. But at the same time, an offense that definitely can put up points against pretty much anyone. But that point differential, don't lie. Comes down to scheming Justin Jefferson out of the game. I think if Jefferson's locked up, Kirk struggles. I mean, who doesn't? But, they have way too much talent on that team for it to be a one-guy team. But as you can see right here, we are struggling. Down by 7, entering the fourth quarter. Huge rushing touchdown, but they get a touchdown back. Right here, it's 2nd and 6 from the 13. Had a chance, and this looks like a field goal. Once again, I don't want to just win them the Super Bowl, but you also know that, like I said, on the... Oh, Lord, I just played the wrong play. On these sliders, I'm worse than in our Seahawks franchise, which I don't know how it makes sense. But it does, and it's just how it is. Ray McLeod's kind of my guy. Debo, no throw power from Purdy. Still gets the ball for a gain of 18, extending the drive and giving this team a chance to tie it up on this one. And they already lose a bunch of yards on a sack. Again, they run the ball, and they're going to kick a field goal. Why does this team want to lose? Wait, what? Now Brock Purdy's running the ball. What is happening? We're up by 3 with 2 minutes left. I don't know what's happening, but from the 47-yard line, somehow, someway, Minnesota only has 6 seconds to save this game. I also don't know why they wouldn't just... I thought he was going to take the running back. This is a flawless game, and anyone that tells you otherwise is just a hater and are not worth listening to. I'm honestly just proud that he didn't throw to the running back. I really thought he was going to. Brock Purdy, again, under 200 yards by a lot. McCaffrey crushing it. Of course, yards after contact is insane. 74-yard as his long receiving. Kind of like last game. The lesser known or the lesser expected targets kind of putting up the best in games. Jordan Hicks with some sacks for the edge from us. Harrison Smith, the old man, with a pick. Kicking was perfect. And another close victory, leading this team to the championship round. And that one you can't really say we played a huge factor in. The Packers one you can maybe argue, but that one you can't say we did because, they ended up turning our first down into a field goal anyways. They're going to kick the field goal either way. And man, Armstead really is not great in this game at this point. But of course, another last hurrah, which a lot of last hurrahs for the last hurrah, if you will. It's like 4 last hurrahs. The championship round. Let's see what they can do. The Eagles. Okay, I want to kind of see. Yeah, I guess I probably didn't need to see it this way, but I wanted to see how each team got here. Obviously, bye week for the Eagles, winning by 6 against Dallas, which is a very close game. Jalen Hurts putting up a very high amount of yards and touchdowns. Receiving, kind of the expected names in this case. Sack totals, 2 for DeMarcus, 1 for Hassan, 2 picks for Anthony Brown. Does that guy even cover anyone? He's the highlight allower. That's what his professional name is. And millionaire that'll do way more than I'll ever do. So if anyone wants to talk crap, I already did. I 8 miled myself. I just M&M'd myself. On the other side of the pond, the conference, it is the Bengals versus the Chiefs, which is a super high-powered matchup. This one, high-powered, but it could also be like a low scorer, right? Like a really good defensive battle. We're up 14-7, 17-7, 17-14. Halftime score will remain the same. Huge drive, only leading to a field goal. They get a field goal. We're up by 10. A touchdown here would win it. Don't get it. It's only a 6-point game, but that insane drive will have Brock Purdy and the Niners in the Super Bowl. Some rebuild, huh? Of course, Brock Purdy having to, lace up them boots, put on that belt, strap up, ready to go. Well, it's Philadelphia. It's a little dangerous. But in general, he did it. He had a gunslinging, and he did it. Of course, a bunch of rushing touchdowns as well, which took away from his passing game. But really impressive stuff there. Ayuk clutched it. Debo clutched up. What else do we have defensively? Some good stuff. Charvarius Ward with an interception. Elliott missing a kick, which in the end, kind of a big deal, right? It changed the trajectory of the game quite a bit. So Who knows what happens if he doesn't miss the kick, but I feel like Elliott's been susceptible to that a little bit lately anyway, so I guess it's not like unrealistic. Nick Bosa, now a 97 overall, 3 strength, 2 to block shot. That's absurd. I actually don't even know if Jake Elliott's actually been susceptible to missing. I just remember recently enough, I think hearing some Eagles fans talking about how like he missed some really big kick that he just can't miss. Of course, Ward, really good ratings. I mean, he's insane. That speed upgrade's pretty cool too. One last hurrah for the 40th time. At this point, I almost want it to be the last hurrah, so I don't have to hear it anymore. Trent Williams, given the 15-plus morale, which, I mean, at this point is basically maxed. Wonder what kind of dev-ups we'll see. It'd be really nice to see some of the older guys, like, you know, Jimmy Ward get a dev-up or something like that. Charvarius Ward getting a dev-up would be great. One last hurrah again. Why didn't we just talk about this last week? I mean, how many interviews does he need? I'm going to leave it all out. Don't tell me he's actually going to retire. He will retire. You better not. I hit you at the fountain of youth. You better not retire. Of course, let's take a look at those dev ups. Brock Purdy didn't play enough, but he played pretty well. Close enough to a dev up. If you would have had it times like 4. Of course, nothing else on the offense. Defensively, what is I expecting a dev up? Mosley went up in dev, I believe. I was expecting Ward to probably go up with 4 interceptions, but didn't. So if you don't win the Super Bowl here, I wouldn't say it's a lost season, but it would be kind of disappointing considering we had 1 dev up, and it was for a guy that we're not even planning on keeping. Super Bowl rematch against the Chiefs, and I know for Niners fans, this is a heartbreaking matchup to think about. A second loss to them would be devastating, but as long as it's not in the same fashion that it was I mean, like, I honestly, the last time these two teams played in the Super Bowl, I blinked and the Chiefs won. I don't even know how it happened. Like, I can't even remember how it happened at this point. And of course, right now, it's not looking as heartbreaking, but it's also still not looking like a Super Bowl win for the Niners. Nice touchdown there. Would it be enough, though, as defense is really struggling, but so is the offense. But here you go, 3rd and 4. I'm willing to try and come in and win this game for this team. Can they do what had happened to them? To the team that did what had happened. Yep, these are all truthful things. I don't need to worry about who's who. I know who's who. Don't worry about it. I'll worry about that. As McLeod drops it. You've got to be kidding me. Purdy, the brights, maybe a tad too. But yeah, those brights are too lights, dude. Of course, defense decides to wake up. Doesn't matter, though, as that field goal will put it away. The Niners lose Super Bowl to Chiefs, 34-20. A little less heartbreaking, I would say, but still devastating, especially considering that first game. I think no matter how you look at it, a loss in this one because of the way the first one went would just be devastating in general. Especially in the era of the internet and memes, it's devastating. That's all. That's just the word of the day, that D word. Of course, looking at the defensive stats, Frank Clark, I mean, he's just like, why? Jalen Mills, 2 interceptions, Mosley with 1. Just why? That's all I can really say, just why. Hell of a run, almost, kind of Nick Foles Eagles type of run, but not quite, as could not win. And Trent Williams, is he actually going to retire? It says he's retired, but has he, like, actually done that? Like, is that something he's for really done? Because that really sucks if so. Because not even cheating would have been able to save him. And with that 75 mil cap room, definitely looks like that's happened here, which really sucks. I mean, it's not the exact way you'd want to go out. I just don't know if I see that, though. Robbie's gone, Josh Johnson's gone, and Trent Williams is officially gone after 12 years. I just, like, I know you're probably supposed to do that earlier. Maybe if I would have avoided that last hurrah bullcrap, we would have been able to avoid it. But, like, that is just dumb, right? Like, why he just retires? Like, he's a 99 overall. Can he at least be dropped to, like, an 89 overall, and then he starts to think about retirement? I almost just want to, like, bring him back. Like, I'm just going to bring him back from the grave. Because, like, I just don't see him retiring, like, you know? So we're in free agency, and I think I am going to bring back Trent and make him, like, a 32-year-old just god. And call it a day, 32 years old, he retires at 35 like, Trent has for us. That's okay, because that would mean him be like 38-ish, which, like, once again, it's really about if he wants to play or not, because it seems like he's absolutely able to. Offered a bunch of contracts. We end up getting the punter. We end up getting the kicker. We end up getting Jawan James, who I will be turning into Trent Williams. Of course, Al-Shaair I'm trying to get back, but I think we can do things without him. I think we'll be fine without him. But if he can resign on a 3 or 12, which I think is fair for both parties in this case, I mean, I would definitely welcome him back. And I also did try to get Nate Davis. He ended up taking a way lesser deal to join the Lions, who maybe, at his age of 26, maybe have a brighter future when you're talking about, like, if he were to play another, like, 5 to 8 years. But, I don't know, I think right now this team has a better chance to win, so I don't think either team is a bad case. We've seen a lot of really bad signings in the game, but that's a fair enough one, right? Also joining an offensive line with a bit more help than we have. And in this situation, the Colts see themselves at pick 8. They could still take quarterback perhaps, but I think I'm going to take one of their high second-round picks for Trey Lance, who, once again, there's no way in hell the Niners trade him off in this offseason unless Brock Purdy, literally leads him to a Super Bowl. That's my, kind of theory with it. But as far as in-game, Trey Lance absolutely is going to be traded by us, as this is the Brock Purdy show. And, I mean, obviously that's going to go through. Pick 40 in the second round is not quite the compensation the Niners would be looking for, but at the same time, with the slow start of Trey Lance's career so far, maybe fair comp, honestly. All right, head to the draft here. My only first-round kind of talent is an offensive lineman, so not going to go that route. Texans go quarterback, which does not surprise us. This pick, Myles Murphy, which is interesting, but you would assume Jalen Carter or Will Anderson. This should be Jalen Carter or Will Anderson. It is. Quarterback, maybe. It is. The Raiders, still quarterback, maybe. Brzee over Will Anderson. I mean, Chandler Jones ain't that young, but of course the Colts kind of lining up for a quarterback themselves. The Falcons with the gift of a century quarterback for the Lions, and it's Hendon Hooker. Of course, looking at the Colts, they do not go quarterback because they have Trey Lance now, and Christian Gonzalez is the pick. So that's kind of what I wanted to see is up to the Colts. Now moving on to the next round, see who is there before we go any crazier. DeJuan Jones there, 32, is a massive steal, and it pains me. And with the amount of names that I still see that are decent here, I might have to take a pause. I went for, the positions we need, but at this point now it's like, okay, maybe you go best available. Trading up for a guy like Antonio Johnson would be massive for the, upcoming retirement of Jimmy Ward, soon to be. Or so I didn't even think about it, but we actually don't have that second-round pick because the Niners traded that for Christian McCaffrey, so we could make a play for Antonio Johnson for a future need position when I could just wait for Christopher Smith, who is a day 3. Or we could trade down. I'm kind of debating on what I want to do here, as I really do like Zach Harrison. I don't know if he's a fit as the DT2. That weight's a little low, but the fact that he has 36 bench press reps with an A block shed tells me, maybe we can make it work, but at the same time, I kind of want, a pure DT. Maybe you go with one of these fellas. It's just Zach Harrison sitting there. He looks amazing. And then, Thule is Jacqueline Roy looks good, but I think he's going to be normal. I don't know if Zach Harrison's going to be normal, but I'd imagine with his name, he'd probably be a star dev. But I just don't know if I can make that argument for him to be the DT. So do I maybe just go for Pickens, trade down and add some depth? Corner wouldn't be the worst thing in the world either, Malachi Moore maybe the end of the second. Man, this is tough. I wish I had a couple of second-round picks here, so I'm going to try to trade down. Browns kind of giving me a decent trade here. I mean, it's a good trade. It's just I kind of wanted 2 late seconds or, a late second and 2 thirds or something, 2 late thirds. But it's something. We add a 4th. It is what it is. Him still being there is surprising, so I'm actually going to grab him. Eli Ricks, sadly normal, but he looked amazing, so I had to take a chance. I honestly thought he was star development trait, but apparently not. There's some risk, but we're trading our second round next year for the Broncos' third round this year. I want to land some talent right this instant, because the better we do right now gives, Brock a better chance to develop quickly, because, winning games gives you more XP. And with this pick, I think I'm going to go with Jarrett Patterson. We really need a center. Van Pran isn't as strong as Patterson, and that's kind of one of the bigger ratings boosts. We'll say Jacqueline Roy's still here, and he's a bit better than Pickens. Do I maybe go with Jacqueline Roy and says a 34 reps, pretty athletic. And then same reps, same athleticism. Yeah, I'd rather just wait on Pickens. I'd rather wait for one of those guys to go. Henley also looks very interesting, though. We need a linebacker, and he's very, very fast. A little raw looking, but very fast, 6'2". But I think, you know what? I actually am going to go out on a limb here and take Henley because he's like the one position I don't have a guy for. Like I have Hampton, I have Diabate, but none of those guys are even nearly as fast as him. I'm actually going to go Henley here. This is completely, and he's hidden. This is completely out of left field a little bit, as I was expecting to go center or DT, and we didn't go with either. And Roy goes right there, which makes it interesting because Pickens could go like any time now. We go with a third this, a fourth next, and a seventh this for 77, so 16 spots with that. Next year's looking a little thin, and I may trade up yet again, but I think we absolutely need Pickens here to develop somebody. Assuming he's not 22 or higher, right? Like, he is 22. Oh, man. I'm still going to take him. Zach Pickens, normal development trade as well, 87 strength, but hoping for some sort of decent pass rush ability. I completely sold. I was trying to go one by one, and I accidentally skipped to next pick. Watch, they're all gone. All my linemen are going to be gone. Wow, we're down to Akior and Zirer. We need a center. Akior kind of seems like a smaller guy to play center. I really don't know his ratings, though. I really wanted a guard and a center. I don't know if that's going to happen here. And, of course, I'm glad that all the corners that I could have waited on are still there. I'm going to go Emil Akior. Why not? And because he's normal development trait. Yay. Should have just waited a year. You find like a billion hidden development traits in the CPU class. So we trade 113, a 7 this, and a 6 next for 100. And we're going to go to the Raiders and trade this and this, I suppose. And it's enough. So we have our two pretty high 4th round picks here. Lots of trading up. No 2nd or 4th or 6th next year. But maybe we have the future at some positions. Killian Zier going to be joining the team. Hidden development trait. Finally, a hidden development trade other than that linebacker. And then with the final pick, we will be taking the safety Christopher Smith. It's a little crazy to be trading up for a safety that's not even going to play yet, but I remember seeing that he was solid. Obviously, it's day 3 now, but very fast still, and he's got some of those, ratings, those traits that still made him look good before when he was a higher projected, so hoping he's still good. Normal development trait, but 91 speed, 91 excel. Slower than I would have thought, in fairness. Man, we taking L's, dude. What can I tell you? You know what word has 2 L's in it? Tell. This draft has been an L. And it takes, damage is our next year draft. So I'm just stoked. And I probably, forgot something along the line where, they're owing another pick that we used up that they shouldn't even have had in the first place. We're going to go with Smith here in the 7th round, even though I expect him to be, long gone in real life and even in the game. But since he's still here, we're just going to say something happened. He punched his grandma right before the draft, and he fell. That's all I'm going to say. We can't wait till it's like his grandma died tragic and he loved her, would never lay hands on her. It's gonna hit me, isn't it? But of course, the draft, man, these overalls were not great. But Henley, 71 overall, hidden at least. Man, this is a brutal one. I'm not gonna lie, this is a brutal one. All right, new team doesn't look too much better. Purdy really hasn't gone up in overall too much. I have the XP sliders on about a 144. He didn't really get to play too much, so that obviously should go up a bit, maybe 73, 74 overall by the end of the year if he has a good one. Receivers look great, tight end's great, obviously he's a receiver. Trent Williams is back, that's the real one. Let's see if ratings actually matter, or if it's just the name that is grandfathered into the game. They're like, oh, Trent Williams is a great player, let's lock him in for 5 sacks or less. But offensive line, the ratings, the overalls aren't great, and we only added 1 hidden guy. So, could have done better there. And then D-line, Pickens has potential. But, man, he's a rough prospect. Let me tell you, 77 power move is great. 69 block shed, not so much. Strength is okay at 87. And then looking at Ricks, he's a 74 overall, but very high potential as well. But 20 years old. Really good press. Man and zone is solid. Catching's great. Speed, excel, and jumping are just enough. He's got some hit power. Niners like some physicality, so why not? Drake Jackson's kind of going off. He had the +3 to power and finesse moves, obviously, for getting the standout, and now 10k XP because he got 1 of 2 for the standout. So I've had a bunch of good wins. We've had, a good season, and that's kind of where that ends. Of course, looking at our money situation, did not give the 5th-year option Ayuk, and with the contract for Nick Bosa pending here, maybe not a bad decision, as we have like 10 mil to work. Actually, it was a really bad decision because we would have been able to afford him, but a 5-year 160 for Nick Bosa, no long-term. Wait, what? Are you dumb? Are you like a not smart? Well, that was a 170 for 5, which is about $34 million per year. We have $7.7 million to re-sign Ayuk, Ward, Kinlaw. I mean, yeah, it's, we're not the most rich team in the world. Holy crap, a 54-0 win. If we win, maybe we're in the playoffs. I don't know, but I can definitely say if we lose, we're out of them. And we're in 36-29, a super close victory, and a Trent boost, which hopefully is pretty good. I almost called it a Trent boost, which we pretty much had to do because he retired. But let's take a look at the season stats. Didn't get a single breakout from Purdy, so I can't imagine he had a good year, but hopefully good enough to get to star. And I'm going to be honest with you, those numbers really don't look good enough to get to star, but we'll see. Really good rushing touchdowns, though, with 9. Very strange year. Very strange year. Of course, the receiving numbers are all over the place as well, and yeah, I don't know what to do with this scheme. This scheme is a disaster. Are they even using Debo much? I might change the scheme. They're not using Debo much. The quarterback situation, they're running the ball too much with him. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Nick Bosa with that 34 mil per year deal, worth it. Drake Jackson, not bad at 8.5. Pickens was okay at 4.5. Picks were kind of low. Will Lutz, really good kicking. Gillian, really good punting. And any award wins outside of Bosa, I can't think there would have been one unless there's like some rookie award because it was a really easy year to win it. And that is not the case. Rick's at number 3, but that was about it. No awards at all. We're going to keep the Niners scheme on for now, though. As, we are in the playoffs. We are winning games. 90 to their 83. And it's a rainy one. This is pretty crazy. There's a ton of rain. All right, going to the end of the game. We got to the championship round and then the Super Bowl, but lost kind of devastatingly to a team that already gave this team a devastating loss in the Super Bowl. In recent years, can we get back to the Super Bowl? Not looking good with a 10-point deficit against the division rivals, down by 10. Really good drive. Will get a touchdown. 7 minutes left. The Seahawks offense is moving as if they don't have a lead, which I can attest, not a good thing. Definitely not a good thing. 2nd and 7, trying to get in there with someone like Pickens, not going to be easy, so I'm fine with using it. And I don't know why Ward was waiting around, but gain of 5, once again, Stroud, the quarterback here, and more importantly, they're moving the ball, playing the game as if they're not leading, which I guess it's worked, but a little strange at the same time. A little strange. They're going to run commit. You pretty much have no choice at this point. And Ward can't get there. That will be a GG. Let's take a look at the numbers. Obviously, Purdy wasn't bad. He was okay. Receiving, rushing-wise, 2.2 yards per carry on 5 carries is bad, even if Mitchell got a touchdown, maybe goal line stuff, supposedly. But do we need a really good wide... Trent Williams giving up 3 sacks. I actually didn't pay attention to that. But fake Trent Williams, not doing so well in the playoffs, at least. Well, that's missing that kick, but that really wouldn't have mattered as we were headed to a near impossible situation. As not only would we have had to get the onside kick, which, you probably can kick 1,000 of them in the game and never see a win, but we'd also have, no time to get down the field for the touchdown. And yeah, so a 99 overall left tackle gave up 12 sacks. That's a good game. Really good coding. Cowboys versus the Jets in the Super Bowl. With the Jets winning, have not looked at the dev-ups. Don't know if there would have been one on offense, to be honest, and there wasn't. Purdy's a 72-year-old, 72 overall, 24-year-old. Very good ratings for accuracy, just no throw power at all. And then on the defensive side of things, we had... Oh, was that Ward and Ricks going up in dev? Because Ward was only normal, right? Oh, was he star? Was he star? Am I losing something? I swear to God he was normal, unless he got it last year and I just completely glossed over it. Definitely started with normal, no? Of course, Rick's definitely started with normal. We aren't going to argue that one. That one, I'm not that crazy. And then, linebacker's pretty much the same. Dre Greenlaw, did he get a contract in real life? Because I sure as hell could not afford him if he needs a contract. I'll tell you that much. And, he needs a contract. Sweet! Another player that's really good that we're going to lose. This could be a failure. We'll see. It says we have 38 mil, which I don't know where that came from, but I am absolutely grateful for it. Brandon Ayuk, I really don't want to pay a tag for, so I'd be willing to do a 4-year 75 if he's down. Really? What's the tag? No! That's why I was willing to give him nearly 20 per, because he's not really worth it, especially the way he's played on this team, because apparently we just don't use him. And I knew the tag was going to be really high, but he decided not to stick around. There's not much more I could have done in that situation, simply put. So we have 38 mil. We need a strong safety, kind of. We could use Smith if we wanted to. And we need wide receiver. Of course, some pretty solid quarterbacks in Jalen Hurts and Herbert. Wirfs at tackle, who's insane. Trayvon Diggs. I see most of these guys as guys that just wouldn't be free agents. Ayuk obviously not getting an offer, which is pretty interesting. Gabe Davis would be a cool kind of name, but I really want to get Ayuk back if he's down, so I'm willing to offer him, pretty much what we offered him before. Maybe just bump it to 20 per, as wide receiver market is kind of absurd at this point anyways. Like, that's got to be good enough. 20 million per for Ayuk? I mean, that still seems kind of like an overpay. At least in-game Ayuk. In real-life Ayuk, it's pretty good. Chin is a free agent. I find that very interesting, as Smith's a little bit raw. If we can get a Jeremy Chin on a 3-year 28, that would be kind of busted. And we're the number 1 team, 11 mil. I'd rather have Chin than Greenlaw, considering Greenlaw is going to be twice his price. I don't know if that makes me dumb, but I feel like that's not a bad decision. Ooh, actually, Smith's kind of good. I didn't realize he was 80 zone coverage. That's kind of busted, but Chin's a good price. Could I not just put him at linebacker when Greenlaw's gone? Like, I like Greenlaw, don't get me wrong, but his price is going to be absurd. I will say we're going to save a ton of money with Eric Armstead going next season. Ward I'd like to keep, but I'm not exactly sure how much he's going to cost. So we're saving a lot with Armstead, which could open up money for Greenlaw, but I wouldn't want to give him more than like 12 per, and I obviously want Hufanga back. So, I mean, I think we're fine if we wanted to pass on Jeremy Chin, but I do like Jeremy Chin, even as a starter over Christopher. Plus, his ratings are pretty mid. No block shedding, 81 zone at 26 is Let's just hope Ayuk signs the contract, which he should, and he does. So a 4-year 80, which is a lot, but, I mean, he does look good, and we're probably going to change the scheme. The scheme is really weird. Like, I'm not really sure how Ayuk is being used. It's strange. Like, I don't even know. It's just weird. I'd rather go to something like Carolina or the Saints, just because they use the, throwing to the running back a lot anyways. Probably more than this scheme actually does anyways, so that's what we're going to do. Maybe Tampa, actually. I know in real life they throw to the running back a lot, but I don't know if they would in-game. So usually when we have not a lot of picks in between the rounds, I kind of look at the later rounds because you're able to trade your first-round pick down. And, I mean, I like what I see. You have a really good DT in Boyd. You have a solid-looking DT in Melvin. What else do you have? Some fast linebackers. Safety, Sweeting looks good, but I don't know what that second-round grade or second- or third-round grade for projection. I don't know if I can pull that off. And then you have some really solid-looking centers. I think you have to grab Russell. Maybe you also get lucky with Lang, and I would like a DT. And I would call it a good draft if we can land those 3. The Bears at pick 1 have a right tackle. The Lions at pick 2 get a DT. And the Saints at 3 do not go quarterback. Interesting. I think we're going to go with Miami, 46, 45, and 110. Of course, that 45 is next year. We could always trade up with that if we really wanted to. And I think with 2 DTs there, we should be fine to skip to 14. I'm really hoping at least. And we're about to find out. And we are. Now, who do you want? 22-year-old, 38 bench press, 487 Felix Boyd, who has better block shed, or Melvin, who is 21, but weaker, also faster. I think with the strength and lack of block shedding, I think I have to go Felix Boyd. Please do not let me down. Thank you. Hidden development trait, 93 strength. I finally got over my fear of age. And we're going to give up 45 next year and a fourth next year to get to 54, which I think is fair. I could have done my own second because I would expect we're going to do better than the team we traded with, but I think it would just not be fair at that point. So they take the trade, and we could even take Melvin if we wanted, which we kind of need, but I'll worry about DT in the future. Right now, I want to grab a very solid-looking center who probably will be center number 1, as Russell looks great. Obviously lacking a little bit in some of the run departments, but overall, better than I've ever seen. Obviously, his power blocking sucks, but looks like a really good lineman. Hoping he's a really good lineman. He's a hidden development trait lineman. He's a good lineman. We trade a third this, a fifth next, and a 7th this year to move up to 72, which we're going to be taking a lineman that we may not even need, but once again, when you see talent that is unpassable, assuming the safety's not there, the safety's there, I'm absolutely taking him, which he is not. I think you have to take it. I think you have to take the talent when it's there. Riley Lang is the talent. I'm going to grab him. And another hidden. I said it last draft. We should have really just waited till this season to draft linemen. We're going to move to the 14th pick in the 4th round and see if there's anyone there left for us to take. Hoping somebody is. Maybe one of the linebackers. Not one of the linebackers. Maybe the middle linebacker. And he is, which is kind of clutch. B zone coverage, 21 years old. Very fast. Gordon Johnson. Hidden development trait, which depending on his overall, maybe opens up the discussions of getting rid of Greenlaw. I think I might look at what Greenlaw is asking for and potentially trade him off. Kind of like a Roquan situation where maybe you get a late second, early third off of him and you don't have to pay him, which is probably the ultimate prize at this point. And is Stephenson really that good to draft in the 5th round when you have Smith? Probably not. Titans offer me a 4th next year. Sounds good to me. Very unrealistic finish of the draft as we have no 5th, 6th, or 7th round picks, but did the Rams look very realistic when they traded all of their high draft picks but yet won a Super Bowl and then sucked the year after? Not really. So nothing's really set in stone. There's no true blueprint to how to run a team, and this is how I'm running ours. 75 overall DT, which that's a plug and play. Russell, 73. Long, 72. And then middle linebacker Johnson at 71. So do I really want to start a youngster linebacker like that over Greenlaw? I don't know. But looking at Boyd, he is a 81 power move, 73 block shed at DT. We obviously have to take a look at Melvin. I should just take a look at his dev, which is only star development traits, sadly. But we'll take it, obviously. And then Russell, whoever's got the better rating is going to be the starting center. I really don't know. We're going to have to compare these guys down the line. So looking at them, they're very similar. No one really gets the nod just yet. Blocking, we are seeing same pass block finesse, 4 better run block, 4 worse run block power. Wow, this is really close. I would say, wait, are they both the same age? Are they both 22? I would say Russell gets the nod, but they're both 22. I don't know. I'd say Russell gets the nod. Let's take a look at the devs. Drafted higher, and in my opinion, looks slightly better. Star dev. It's going to be really awkward, though. If Lang is the superstar, I'm going to have to start Russell because I've already made the determination that I think Russell's better. And once again, he was drafted higher as well, and both stars. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter. Russell's my guy, though. Johnson looking very raw. Yeah, if I can get Greenlaw on like a 3-year, like 50, there's something similar to that, I probably would do it, as Johnson looks like he's going to need some years as a backup. And then Melvin, 73 overall, normal. We dodged a bullet. 78 overall, Aaron Banks. How much is Clowney worth? Like cost-wise? Because I don't want to... I would love the depth because I'm not going to sign Banks anyways, and I know Clowney's on the older side, but don't really have the money for Clowney right now. But I suppose as long as he doesn't have a next year kind of value to him, it wouldn't really matter because he'd be a 1-year rental anyways. So he looks like a tag situation, which is... maybe it's a tag and trade. I'm willing to do that. I think that's a fair trade. Nice depth there for us. Maybe enough to push us over the edge. In a good way, of course. So we will take the deal. They get a guard. We get edge depth. All right, the team for Season 3. Burford may look lost, but you know what? He's a good guard, so we will allow it. Trent Williams dropped to a 98 overall, but probably should drop down to a 2 overall because he was awful last season. Obviously not actually Trent Williams, but the game shouldn't know the difference because he's the highest rated guard or tackle, offensive lineman in general in the league at this point. Obviously the wide receivers 1 and 2 look great. Ayuk That 4-year 80, we're really hoping with a new change in scheme that he actually plays up to that, as he really did not in this Niner scheme. Boyd looks great. Ricks has a good chance to be great because, of course, he got to start development trade. Linebacker, Greenlaw, depends on the contract. If he's asking for like a 4-year 80, I don't know if I'm pulling that off, especially with a star dev. Long shot, I will admit, but not $20 million linebacker with hidden development, like we said. Backup, and then Smith, really good zone coverage, but normal. Same with Hufanga. Hopefully we can get a dev up, maybe for both of them, but at least one of them. All right, we had a really bad start, but we have turned it around nicely. A 4-year 60, I will admit, is what did I say a 4-year 80? In fairness, a 4-year 80 in Madden terms is actually pretty commonly asked for. We have 3, maybe 4 names if you consider Ambry Thomas. That we need to sign. So I kind of want to sign the guys that I absolutely want to keep. You know, can we live without Dre Greenlaw? Probably. Can we live without Charvarius Ward? Probably not, to be honest. I'll do a 1-year deal. I'll do a 2 if I have to, but I'd prefer not to. Elijah Mitchell, I don't think he's really played much, but he is a really good backup with his ratings. And 2022 is great. 2023 sucked. This year, he's probably on par for like 300 yards, 3.7 yards per carry. So it appears this scheme doesn't care too much about the backups. And Hufanga, I think, is a long-term. I wouldn't do a 5-year. I'll do a 5-year 36 if he's down, which is super helpful for us. And for Ambry Thomas, we will offer him the offer he wants. So a 5-year, maybe like 27. Nice. 3 or 47.4 for Dre Greenlaw, which is amazing. 24 mil left, so maybe bump that to, you know, like a 2-year 30, and we have like 22 mil left to work with all the guys we wanted back on the team. With a change to the Saints playbook, which of course is utilizing the receiving back ability of Christian McCaffrey quite a bit, has gotten us to a 12-5 record, which is amazing, because obviously we also get this 10K XP, which is cool, but 12-5 record, which gives us the bye week, which is very impressive. Of course, and I kind of glanced, didn't really see any crazy numbers for our guys, but, you know, really bad out the gate. Didn't change anything about the scheme because I was like, you know what? I think it's fluky. And it was. We lost to the Seahawks twice, yet still won the division and the NFC as a whole. And, of course, let's take a look at our numbers. I've seen Nick Bosa on the sack list, which is nice. And look at Purdy go. Got to be a star dev trait guy. I didn't see a breakout this entire rebuild so far for him, but this could be his chance to at least get to star, I would imagine. McCaffrey was great, obviously. Debo was solid. Kittle was decent. Ayuk was decent. Even Smith was decent. McCaffrey didn't really get involved as much as I would have thought he would have. Trent Williams with 9 sacks allowed, 10 for McGlinchey, and a center allowing 8. Hello, Burford was amazing. Defensively, 3 guys with 100+ sacks, or tackles. That would be a lot of sacks. Christopher Smith probably going to star. Fred Warner had a really good year. Nick Bosa had a really good year as expected. Armstead was decent. So was Boyd. But Drake Jackson, really bad step back. Ward didn't accept any of my offers. I got all the way up to a 1-year 17. Gets a 6 picks and probably gets a dev up. So it's going to be really interesting to re-sign him. Will Lutz, we didn't offer a contract to because he was kind of on the older side. But 20 for 21, we got to. And then Gillen, 53.2 is amazing. So maybe a chance at a couple of awards here. It was a really good year. Brock Purdy may even be, 6th on MVP. I was about to say, up there as far as awards. Wow, Cooper Kupp has won a lot of those. Rookie awards, nothing, sadly. Number 3 again for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Purdy, though, Pro Bowl quarterback. McCaffrey, Pro Bowl running back. Wide receiver, number 10 for Debo. O-line at number 3 for Burford. 7 for Lang. D-line at number 2 for Bosa. Linebacker at number 5. And then DB, number 1 for Ward. So he's guaranteed to be a superstar. And Lutz, I think, might go up to star. Could this be the Super Bowl victory for Brock Purdy and the Niners? The Bears, 9-8. I'm not trying to get a little too excited, but if you were to say, would you believe this is a tough matchup? I don't know if I would say it's the toughest. And I do kind of want to go to 5 years, even if we win a Super Bowl here, because I do want to see, at the point where it's the 5th year, of the rebuild, you can kind of see what Purdy's kind of max is for his development and, well, at least his overall, because at that point he'd probably be 26, 27, so he's not at least in the 80s by then. It's probably a GG on him ever being in the 90s, right? So 17-14, start of the fourth quarter. The Bears are giving us a battle. Field goal lead and a touchdown would win it. They get the touchdown. Once again, you do have to remember they had to beat someone to get there because we obviously had a bye week. Starting quarterback for the Bears, still Justin Fields. Purdy almost threw the game away. Rushing numbers were great. Mitchell, I may even give a last-second contract to because kind of expected, exceeded expectations a little bit from myself. And, he's doing pretty well here in the postseason as well. So if it's not too much, I might try to get him back. Running backs know there's a dime a dozen at their position. So unless you're truly special, you provide something that no other player can at the position, which isn't super common. I mean, your value isn't crazy high. I think a 3 or 15 for, Mitchell, the way he's built here in this franchise, is pretty fair. And here is the Vikings. The Niners versus the Vikings. 92 overall to their 87. Za'Darius is still there, and he's an X factor, but no matter what, no matter how he played, no matter when he got that X factor, he kind of is so old that he can't be much higher than like an 80 flat, to be honest. So there's that. Of course, the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So even if we beat Minnesota, it's still not the greatest situation, as we may lose 3 Super Bowls in the span of, just over a half decade, which would be brutal for any fan base. I don't care who it is, even if it was like the Patriots. 24-6, 24-13. One more touchdown might be the trip back against the Chiefs. 24-16. No chance for them to come back with a nice stand and a long touchdown. Purdy seemed to do a lot better this time. Only 1 interception. Geno is the quarterback for the Vikings. Kind of giving me like McNabb vibes a little bit here. Giving him a chance. But looking at the rushing numbers, Dalvin kind of outperformed us. But, of course, he did have a long run, so you take away that. And, it's 11 for, 50, which is good, but not, elite. Smith was killing it. I don't even know, dude. Ayuk is just never going to be good for us, I guess. As far as interceptions go, the 2 safeties who are normal dev, maybe getting up to super or to star after this year, get interceptions, which obviously played a big factor. It might have even been one of the, those guys picking off the ball that right at the end there to save a score and then us getting a score. The Super Bowl once again against the Chiefs is among us. Let's take a look at these dev-ups. I would imagine Purdy is now at least star, right? Whoa! Bro, is there even a point in doing another season? Like, if we win a Super Bowl here, I don't even know if I want to do another one, because if that's not good enough for a star dev up, what is? That was an amazing year. I'm going to take a look at the rest of the league after I take a look at the rest of our devs, if we even had any. We should have, Ward and none for the safeties. Wow. You probably won't have it for yards, maybe even touchdowns, but his touchdown to pick ratio has got to be up there with some of the best, right? Winston, of course, killing it for Washington. So Purdy's yards, not the greatest, probably about 16th. Touchdowns puts him at, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th? 8th in touchdowns with, don't tell me he had the lowest interceptions. Don't even do it. The third okay, I'm forcing it. I'm sorry. I'm forcing it, dude. Third lowest. 8th highest touchdowns. Third lowest picks. Can't even get to star. Meanwhile, Russell Wilson's like a 76 overall X factor in the game, or superstar. They might have dropped his dev by 1, but I don't care. I don't care. You get mad at me all you want. How is that not star? How? How does it make any sense? Touchdown to pick ratio doesn't matter? Like, what? That's literally the only thing anyone cares about these days, it seems. They don't even care how many dropped picks there were. As long as the total at the end of the season says not many interceptions, good touchdowns, the people are happy. Here we go for the second time in this rebuild, 3 times, and like I said, just over half decade for this Niners team going against the Chiefs. Chiefs are high-powered. Our defense last time couldn't stop them. Offense struggled. So far, that seems the opposite of the case, scoring pretty much every drive and limiting them at times. 13-all is the score, and at halftime, we could really use the score there, as we just seem like we are reeling the entire time as the Chiefs look to win yet another. I'm not mad. And then Brock Purdy just goes into his ball again. Where is this Chiefs defense that is apparently the greatest of all time? Like, who did they add that makes them so good? Chris Jones, fair enough, he's good. But, like, the rest are trash cans. Like, really? Like, how? Like, how does Purdy against the Chiefs defense have a 21 passer rating. Like, I would literally have a better passer rating by throwing 3 passes. Because as long as they aren't all intercepted, I think that's a better passer rating, even if I throw it right to the ground. All right, so Ward has that superstar dev now, which definitely makes him more valuable. 1 year, 17.5. I hate this game, dude. I hate it. Like, fair enough, if he wants more years, that's a fair argument. I don't want to let him go to free agency, but at this point, maybe there's corners just as good as him, which would at least drive his price back down to normal, because 24 mil is a lot to pay. It is. In real life, I think you tag him. You try to work out a little bit of a longer-term deal, but in-game, because he didn't re-sign because of in-game stupidity, I'm going to use that argument of in-game stupidity to re-sign him. Which I will say, Hobbs is like a similar type of corner. This man is nowhere near as good, but he is younger. He is sadly the best corner by far, so we may have to pay out quite a bit anyways. Burgess is an X factor, which is really weird. He's also only 26 still, which is really surprising. And did I forget to get Lutz back? I completely just ignored him. Let's go for a 2 year 8 if he wants, which, I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't. All right, I'd be really disappointed if we didn't get Ward. I offered him a 2 year 40. Elijah Mitchell was a 3 year 9. Dalvin was a 1 year 4.5. And then Lutz, of course, we know was a 2 year 8. And we get the 2 we absolutely wanted, so that's good. I kind of spoke early because I expected them to be ours, but it's actually not a guarantee. He could have easily went anywhere he wanted. Dalvin doesn't seem to be interested, but Mitchell still has a chance. And, I mean, even the Bills are trying to lowball him even worse than we do, or are trying to. So you can't say we're that slimy, right? And Elijah Mitchell is going to be a Dolphin. Who would have thought? That's interesting. Can't keep Waddle, but you want our backup running back. Great priorities, idiots. On the positive side, it's like the first year we have basically a full draft class. We're going to have a full draft. So we trade 31 and a third next year with Derby because it was the smallest sliver I've ever had. So small a sliver I wasn't even willing to part with a 7th next to move up 7 spots to the Giants in the first round because we have a 1-2 grade DT. And I'm hoping he's there. We have a tackle as well, but we really need the DT. I'm hoping he's there, like I said, 1-2. He does have a round 1 grade, though, talent-wise, which is impressive, and he is here. But he doesn't look that insane. You do also have, Henley. So I'd be willing to take either one, but I think the other guy is just a little bit better because he also fits the scheme a little bit better. But I do want to take one last look just in case. I mean, he looks solid, and he's the actual position we need. He's also 21. So I'm going to go with Trayvon Norwood, who is hidden. I would love to see Henley as well. But as far as what we were looking for, we got what we wanted. He's a hidden development trait. We desperately needed him, and that's all I could ask for. We trade 63 this, 127 this, and a 4th round next year to move up 22 spots in the 2nd round to grab a tackle who will likely replace Trent Williams or McGlinchey, so it really doesn't matter to me as long as he's good. And he looks pretty good to me as he's 21, 6'7", decent strength, not super athletic, but a bunch of A's in the blocking, so as long as he's not normal, I feel good, and he is not normal. He is 86 strength for 6'7", which is a little strange, but looks to be a good starting future tackle. Our pick after this late 3rd is a 6th round pick. We do have Davis Price still at running back, but I also do like Brian Cobb. All of my other linemen are gone, sadly, but Brian Cobb is a very interesting running back with an A break tackle, solid speed, an A stiff arm, and B trucking. I think he's one of those 74-plus overall guys. I don't know if he's hidden or not, but I don't know when he would go. But we could use the depth at safety. We could definitely use the depth at corner. Could use the depth at edge. Obviously, I don't know what that finesse is, but considering he's decently fast, it's got to at least be, B, I would say. But, man, it is tough to pass on Brian Cobb, and his name seems pretty legit. I'm going to take him because we don't have Mitchell. And I may be right. 92 speed, 93 excel, hidden running back. Not going to be a starter, but I think is worth it. I think he's worth it. Couldn't get Mitchell back. We basically just got Mitchell back. Cost us a late 3rd, but I think it's fair price to pay. And we have ourselves a fast white wide receiver, Emmett Finney, who's 95 speed, 93 excel. And then the 7th rounder, I didn't actually pay attention too much to the kickers or punters. I've just been letting free agency kind of decide that. I might just go for like the strongest kicker or punter and see what's up. Instead, I'm going to go for Tony Glenn, the fullback, because Juszczyk I think is going to be done after this season. 84 strength, 74 speed, looks all right. And I think those kickers should be in free agency. There was like 3 guys with good kick power that at the kicker position, so you would think there'd at least be 1 sitting there. And did we pass on anyone? Like, I think there was some linemen, but I don't really care too much about them. Maybe the corner to safety, don't care too much about them. I thought the running back was 68. I was like, uh-oh. 76 overall. The DT, same as our other one, 75 overall. Left tackle's only 73. But I'm really curious about Cobb. Even though he's probably going to be the least impactful of the bunch, I am curious about him if I can see. All right, so finally got to take a look at these players. 92 speed, 93 excel. Really good carrying, really solid truck stiff, juke move. Strength is great. What was his catching? Actually, I didn't really see it. Oof. Okay, so Christian McCaffrey goes down. You don't quite get the same type of back. Let's put it that way. Dev is only star. I was getting better than star vibes, not going to lie, but could have one of those like running back mentors things, especially with CMC as the running back. Fullback looks decent. Left tackle, I'm not going to care too much about right now because he's not a starter anyways, and we'll find out his dev once the season's over regardless. And then Norwood, we want to know because he is the starter, or the number 2 at least. 77 power move, 74 block shed. Kind of like a poor man's version of the guy we just drafted, but obviously since he's hidden, he'll plug and play as a hopefully decent player. Or maybe he's better than the guy we got because he's superstar and that guy is not. We kind of cheated and had Purdy as a star dev, but even then, 76 overall at 25 years old, even with star, is not super developable. 8,600 XP per upgrade, which maybe gets him to an 80 by the end of the year. A lot of talent around the team. Obviously, the offensive line's getting better as well, but losing guys like Ward very soon, losing Trent Williams probably this upcoming season, and then maybe even Kittle soon, as he's like 31, 32, and he's going to start regressing. So that window is kind of like now. And Purdy obviously isn't getting much better. Obviously, he's a lower overall, so it's kind of hard to put it all on him. But as far as this kind of rebuild goes, he kind of needs to. Otherwise, it's GG. Hey, Brock Purdy with a breakout is now a superstar. We're having an iffy season. We have a ton of money, which means, yeah, as expected, a bunch of names to re-sign, including Purdy, who I suppose is our quarterback of the future. A 4-year 80, I guess, would be kind of fair. 4-year 80, happy to sign. So it's not the worst contract in the world for us to have to pay up. Christian McCaffrey, I obviously want, but that is a lot of years, dude. A 3-year 38, I know it is, but your age is bringing it down for me. A 4-year 123, I mean, even that is, that's still, he's 33 years old, but still, it's worth it. Kittle, man. Some of these guys, like, you're asking for too much. Drake Jackson's iffy because he really hasn't played that well, but a 4-year 72 is worth it for both sides easily. Still 61 mil, but you have to pay a few more guys on the team. McGlinchey hasn't been great, so I don't know if I want to pay him. And then Kittle, even a 3-year is a lot, but a 3-year, 46 or whatever it was, I would have done. Kind of reminded me of, what was it, year 1, year 2, where we were 8-8, and if we won, we would go to the playoffs, and here we are, the 15-2 Seahawks. The Buccaneers, actually the team that we had to beat to make the playoffs that season. Also looking at Anthony Richardson, looking godly. Brock Purdy, 4,500 yards, 35 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. McCaffrey with a really good season. Debo, great. Kittle, solid. Smith outperforming Ayuk. Once again, I don't understand. I've changed the lineup a billion different times, and yet Ayuk never gets the stats. Of course, Nick Bosa is going down like 3 sacks a season, it seems like. Trey Jackson, decent. Boyd, really good. Norwood, really good for a rookie. Fred Warner, really good with those interceptions. Kicking was solid from Lutz. Punting was worse, but still good from Gillen. And let us go to the awards. Stroud winning another MVP, dude. He has crushed it. So has, of course, Cooper Kupp and Will Anderson. Any awards for us? Nick Bosa, and that is it. 9-8 is still playoff worthy. All that matters is you get in, so let's see if we can do it. Here we go, Buccaneers and Niners. Who is going to win it? 0-all still. Start of the second quarter. They get a touchdown, but they don't get the extra point. We are up by 1 now. They're up by 2. Halftime score remains the same. We get a touchdown, up by 5. Looks like our defense really clutched up there, but not on that drive. It's all tied up at 17. We get the touchdown lead, and it looks like they turned the ball over, and they are going to lose by a score of 24-17 in a really good-looking defensive battle. Anthony Richardson, who is like destined to be a Buccaneer apparently because he's literally always on their team in rebuilds, didn't play well. Purdy, not the greatest yards or touchdowns, but really good completion percentage. Also 2 rushing touchdowns on top of it for the team. Smith is like the guy apparently. Sack totals, Norwood, the rookie, doing pretty well. 2 interceptions for Warner and 1 for Ambry Thomas. Could it be the year? A 9-8 season Niners team. Could they win it? Brock Purdy with his upgrade is now an 80 overall. Another throw power, so he's getting there. Divisional round, facing off against the Buccaneers, who are really good. Now the Seahawks. Breakout DB in the playoffs. Christopher Smith. This would be a clutch one. Let's see if we can get it. 86 overall for them, 93 for us, but apparently they're a 15-2 team. Stroud really carrying. All right, going to the end of the game, 3-0, 7-3. Seattle bounce back with a field goal. They get a stop. They get a touchdown. They get another stop. No touchdown. They get another stop. Touchdown. Huge touchdown for us. And right before half, we get the 1-point lead. Start of the second half, up 8 now. They get the touchdown on the 2-point, and this has been a wild one with 8 minutes left from their own 6. We are down by 4, and the defense is doing nothing to help themselves. 3rd and 4. This could be the last opportunity. They are bringing a bunch of receivers out here, though. It looks like they are willing to throw the ball, which why wouldn't they? Because everyone just decides to destroy us. Any run? It is not a run. No pressure. Blitz off the edge and a perfect throw, but Metcalf sells, and it's going to be Niner football. I don't know why I whispered all of a sudden. That was crazy. Will he choke? I don't know. A lot of interceptions from him in this rebuild, especially in the playoffs. I mean, they're moving, but for some reason they decided, let's run the ball a bunch because, you know, it's not like clock is a big problem. They lost like 40 seconds, gaining like a few yards. It's been really strange, but it's EA for you. Ayuk one-on-one. Can he beat him deep? I mean, I think you have to take that. It's pretty good coverage. Wasn't really there. I guess try to get a little closer. Try to get closer for a shot. We have one timeout. No field goal can save us. And it's not really going to do a whole lot, but it's something, as there was really nowhere else to go. Maybe you should have taken 2 shots instead of trying to get a little bit closer. Kind of on me, actually. Can I get Smith to get near Debo? This is an interesting one. What do I think about this? I don't know. Let's see what we got. Come on, somebody get open. Debo! Touchdown! Niners in the championship round. I don't know why they didn't just play prevent, but it worked. Oh my. Am I the greatest play designer of all time? Obviously. Take a look at the stat line. I mean, Purdy deserved to win, dude. His team let him down big time. You take away our drive, it's still, what, a 300-yard, 4-touchdown, 0-interception performance? Like, that is brutal to deal with. Metcalf really sold, though. He should never even have had the ball back. Where did that second... wow, Smith has been good for this team, though. Interceptions, the linebackers, kicking, Lutz, you trash can. I know it was a block, but you trash can. Would have been so much easier. He has got to be, like, I mean, the most relieved man on the planet. And I don't even pay attention if Smith got the brick out. And I'm frustrated, man. I'm angry. Not as angry as me, all right? I've got 2 normal development trait safeties that have so much potential, and they can't get to star. That's real anger. The Giants at 10-7. I mean, at this point, everyone's a damn 90 overall. We've wasted so many opportunities. We at least got close, I suppose, but I mean, even the Giants are here now. I mean, this is pain. Jets versus the Chiefs. Just anyone but the Chiefs. Even if we're not in it, I don't care. The Jets have won a Super Bowl already, too, but I don't care, dude. Anyone but the damn Chiefs. 4 overalls on them, and they're only good because they paid a lot of free agents that shouldn't have been there. Who would have thought it would have been the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? Real shocker there. 3-all, 10-3. Really good defensive stand there as they look like they're about to score for sure. 13-3 at half. 16-10 with a huge score. We get a huge score, too, with the 2-point, though. Start of the fourth quarter, up 16 after a safety. And with our defense giving them some troubles, we are going to hold on 29-26, which tells me we are going to lose our third Super Bowl to the Chiefs here, which is going to be fun. Tua is the quarterback. Brock Purdy, they played pretty similar games. Of course, they did have a rushing touchdown, so you put that in the passing game, and they played better on offense, it seems. Defensively, sack totals, they beat us there, too. I don't even know how we won, to be honest. You look at the numbers, and it's like we had more field goals, but they just look like they played better at every other aspect. Here we go, the Super Bowl. We already talked about it. It's the damn Chiefs, and it sounded like I censored something there, but I didn't. I had a hiccup, okay? Look at the dev ups. Obviously, Purdy was not going to go up in dev. We had nobody worthy of going up in dev on offense. Defensively, though, Boyd goes up to superstar, Ricks goes up to superstar, and Greenlaw goes up to superstar, which is beautiful. We will take all those dev ups for sure. Superstar for Ricks. Boyd, he did have a pretty good season. So did Norwood. They both had 7 and 8 sacks, which is really solid, actually. They're developing into a pretty formidable duo. And I never realized Nick Bosa had 7 upgrade points that he just can't use. He's insane. The speed is awful, but he is insane other than that. I didn't even actually pay attention to the safeties, but 92 overall for both teams. Can we finally beat them? I don't even know. I actually can't handle another loss to the Chiefs. Please. Oh, here it is. Here it goes. Purdy throwing picks. 10-7, 14-10, 17-14, 17 all. I still don't like it. Nice field goal before half. Up by 10. 27-24, please score. No, please. Nice. 5 minutes left. Come on, defense. Wake up. 3rd and 13. They're moving. Free penalty. They only get a field goal. 1:40 for the offense. The clock. Look at the clock, dude. There is no shot this game was coded by actual humans. I commend the AIs that were put up to the task of coding itself, because there's no way. And I threw that late. Like, what's the great idea here, huh? And there goes Kittle. Really good catch. Could you not fight Kittle? Please. No, I'm not kicking the field goal just yet. I'm baiting them out, okay? No, this is not. Okay, there we go. I'm baiting them out for crossers, but I'm going to run it up the middle. If we get the right audible, please. Come on, McCaffrey. Get some yards. Don't make me cry. Don't make me cry, I said. From the 27-yard line, the AI will be kicking the field goal. And we will be winning the Super Bowl 37-34 to the Chiefs. You knew they were going to put up 30+, but somehow Brock Purdy and the offense put up 37. We have finally stopped the Chiefs from beating us. What are we, like 1-3 now against them? That is absurd. 3 Super Bowls with the Niners in this one, and I mean, if you're the Chiefs and you have real respect, you easily congratulate the Niners, right? Because it's basically like your little brother winning at this point, with them having, 3 Super Bowl wins over us. It's pretty absurd. We finally had our day under the sun. And that's going to be the rebuild. I mean, you can't really do much better than that, especially with the potential retirement of makeshift fake Trent Williams, as he is, of course, the same age as the original Trent Williams was when he had his last hurrah and left us. That's Brock Purdy. That's a Super Bowl win. Of course, looking at some of the plays, I don't care. I really don't care. The game is just, it is what it is. Of course, looking at the stats, Brock Purdy didn't really outperform Mahomes, but it's not easy to do that in general. Debo with a rushing touchdown. Receiving numbers, Pacheco. Okay, a lot of Pacheco downs, apparently. It's a pretty good one, actually. Looking at the sacks, nothing really going there. Picks, Hufanga, Sean Murphy-Bunting, and then Willie Gay. Will effing Lutz, dude. You can't even trust the guy at all. You just can't. The one-hitter quitter. 37-34. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Finally, you let us have our moment. Let's take a look at the ratings and overalls and devs of some of the guys that we obviously progressed. Purdy finally got to an 80+. 25 with Superstar. He's definitely got potential to still get better, but How much better, I wouldn't be able to tell you. He's almost, he's like in the 90s pretty much for all the accuracies, and he won a Super Bowl at this overall, so it's like, maybe he can win more. I don't know. Maybe we extend this rebuild at some point, but really weird wide receiver dynamic is, we didn't really use Ayuk, and we really didn't use McCaffrey that much in the receiving game, so it's weird, because we use the Niners, then we use the Saints, and it's just like, other than going to the Panthers, we've kind of exhausted our options with that. Debo really wasn't used that well, even when we were in the Niners scheme and all that. Absolutely insane juke ability. He's just great receiver in general, no matter what kind of offense you want to run. Ayuk, just for the hell of it, we'll take a look at his ratings, which, of course, feature kind of low release, but really good short, decent medium route, and great catching. And as far as the offensive line, I suppose we'll take a look at some of these guys like Burford, who's not this good of an overall to start. Finesse blocking's great. Power blocking sucks. Kind of notice a trend with that. I mean, just in general in our rebuilds, but specifically this one, everyone sucks at power blocking that, we drafted. It's quite a disaster, let me tell you. Cameron Russell, I think, is the same way. 0 power block. He's 64 pass block power. 64 as a center. Like that's like a fullback. Same with Zier. Damn, dude. Please? I do want to see if Trent or anyone else retires. I imagine Juszczyk would also retire. Let's take a look at Fred Warner. Why not? 90 block shed, 90 zone. Slow, a little bit slow, but it's still really good. Absolutely insane. Smith, 80 overall. What's that zone like? What do they actually upgrade on him? 86 zone. Fair enough. Not a good dev. Still young, though, and 86 zone. You can't be really too mad with that. Hufanga, 85 overall. His zone wasn't great last time I checked, but 86 zone as well. Great hit power. Maybe switch those two's positions. Maybe it'll lead to something better. Ward was really good. 90 overall Ward. What's his man in zone? 94 man, 87 zone. Just fast enough. 92 speed's pretty good. And then defensively, Ricks, only 22 years old. Superstar development trade, 89 man. Great press. Just got to get that zone up a little bit, but he looks really good. Superstar dev at 22 is pretty busted. Pretty busted. Thomas, I think his man was decent as well. We already looked at Nick Bosa just recently. Boyd, 23 years old, 83 overall. Really good power move, solid block shed, strong as hell, great tackling. He's obviously a young goon to be. I wanted to look at the DT2 first, but Drake Jackson, no block shedding, but 96 finesse, decent speed. Looks pretty good. He just can't get those sack numbers up, but he did kind of climb back into that near double digits margin. Norwood, 79 power move with 80 block shed. They love to get these block sheds up for the DTs, but I don't mind too much. Greenlaw, superstar development trade, 91 overall. Still kind of slow like Fred, but really good zone coverage, good hit power, smarts. Just block shed sucks. So not really a guy that I would re-sign if I was using the team, but Greenlaw has been really good for them in real life. I had to do it. Henley's an amazing zone coverage guy. Block shed is 67. So you see, he's not as smart as Greenlaw, but he's way faster, and it's just like, it's not that hard to get a Greenlaw if you're not going to get those block shed stats up. So either way, that is going to be the realistic style rebuild of the San Francisco 49ers with Brock Purdy at quarterback. Lots of Super Bowl trips apparently in his future, and finally a win here in 2025. If you guys enjoyed this one, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr. Second channel, Pkr Plays, for non-Madden playthroughs of games like High on Life, which is what we're working on right now. Probably God of War Ragnarok next. And check that out in the community tab. And if you're not new, really appreciate your continued support, especially if you watch some of the second channel content. If you guys have any ideas for next rebuild, let me know in the comment section below. That would probably be sometime next week. I'm not going to do one this weekend. We got this one pretty much. So Super Bowl will be of the Seahawks probably on Saturday, and there's a lot of football that I kind of want to watch, so maybe not. Maybe we won't upload that. But yeah, second channel upload tomorrow, and next rebuild, maybe a fantasy draft style. I don't know, maybe another one of these types, maybe a Stidham Raiders rebuild, but gotta be honest, 26 years old and like 57 overall is a little bit tougher than 22, 67 overall, right? So, I don't know. Got any ideas, let me know in the comment section below. Any challenge ideas, let me know. Anyways, my head's about to explode from nonstop talking. Hopefully you guys come back for next video, but until next video,